I'm Chris Pritchard. Now, I know you've never seen me on Bike World before, but I'm hoping, as long as this ride goes all right, it won't be the last time you see me. I've been thrown well and truly into the deep end by the guys at Bike World, and I'm here in Fuerteventura for the brand new test launch of the Multistrada 950. I'll be honest, it looks exactly the same as the 1200, but according to Ducati, it's much more accessible and much more versatile. So the plan now is to head into the presentation, find out all about this bike, and then straight to bed for an early start. I really want to find out what this island and what this bike has got in store. I say I'm going to go to bed early, but it sounds like they're still partying down there. First ride on the bike, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's so nimble and so agile through these twists and turns. It's surprisingly how quick you can get through these corners on this bike. Really enjoying it so far. So we've just stopped for lunch after the first ride on this Multistrada, and my first impressions are very positive. It's a great bike, it's smooth, it rides really well, and some of the roads that we've been on have just been incredible, so really looking forward to the second part. Like any launch, there's a presentation that kicks off the whole thing, and Ducati gave us all the specification on this bike, and here's what they had to say about it. So if we look at the engine first, it's the 937cc engine, straight out of the Hypermotard and the Supersport bike. Engine mapping is slightly different to give it a smoother power delivery, but ultimately it's exactly the same engine, 113 brake horsepower. The suspension is fully adjustable, it's all manually adjustable because this bike is built to a price point, and the front end has limited travel. It's not built for off-road, so you don't get that long travel you get on a normal off-road bike. The switch gears are straight off of the Monster that we test rode over in Monte Carlo last week, and the bike obviously comes with the Ducati safety pack, which has 3 levels of ABS and also 8 levels of traction control, and 4 different rider modes, which are Sport, Touring, Enduro and Urban. The rear swing arm is the double-sided swing arm straight off the Multistrada Enduro. That's so you can have the option of going for those spoked wheels. So it looks like lunch is over, the riders are here now, so it's time to get suited up, booted up and get back out there. So we're back at the hotel now, the riding's been done for the day, and I've got to say, first impressions, this bike is absolutely solid. It was so much fun to ride, so easy to ride, and the weight and the size of it belies just how capable this is in the tight and twisty turns. I did find it a little bit too soft to start with, so after lunch we increased the compression a little bit, and that made a world of difference. It was a lot more stable on braking, going through corners and coming out of corners. We didn't touch the rear end, but this bike is a serious contender from Ducati. Ducati's mantra for this bike is accessibility and versatility, and they've clearly followed through with that thought process. I bet this bike's just as comfortable fully loaded with a passenger and a full set of luggage as it is on those tight twisty roads and even the daily commute. The 937cc Testa Stretta engine, which is exactly the same used in the Hypermotard as it is in the Supersport bikes, has 113 brake horsepower, and it still maintains those market-leading service intervals of every 9,000 miles. Ducati say this is going to help bring down the running costs overall of this bike. The chassis is exactly the same as the 1200, but the geometry of the bike is more akin to the Enduro with that 19-inch front wheel. Ducati are claiming that this is going to help handling both on-road and off-road. Now, me personally, this is an 11 gram bike. I wouldn't take it off-road, but if you have the confidence to and you've got the right tyres on, I'm sure you can have a lot of fun on it. The rear grab rail is also taken from the Enduro bike, which allows for a greater range of luggage options. That includes the Ducati Metal Touratech set. The seat height is the lowest in the Multistrada family at 840mm. The optional extras listed are seats which take it up 20mm or can take it down 20mm, which are official Ducati products. Again, because of the price point this bike sits at, you get a standard electronic system. It comes with the Ducati safety package with 3 levels of ABS and also 8 levels of traction control. I did notice a distinct difference between the 4 different engine settings. The Urban and the Enduro both reduce the power down to 70 brake horsepower. The Enduro sets the traction control and the ABS to a low standard, whereas the Urban is much safer with a higher ABS and a higher traction control. Touring mode maintains that 113 brake horsepower with a DTC level of 5 and again full ABS at level 3. Now for me, sporting mode was where it's at. It's full power all the time and very minimal assistance. The ABS is still relatively high at level 2, but the traction control is almost completely off, so it means you can have a hell of a lot of fun. To match the 4 engine settings, Ducati have put together 4 distinct accessory packages you can purchase. The Touring Pack includes side panniers and a centre stand. The Sports Pack comes with the Termi exhaust, the aluminium frame plugs, and the billet front brake reservoir. The Urban Pack has a top case and the tank bag with the USB charging hub, and the Enduro is fully stacked with the LED lights, the Touratech engine bars, radiator guard, sump guard, kickstand base and metal rider peg. The brakes are Brembo monoblock radial calipers on the front. The rear is a floating caliper. We've got 320mm discs on the front and 265mm disc on the rear. Now you know you're going to get good quality with Brembo, and these brakes were sensational. Now the 950 LCD screen isn't quite as fancy as a 1200 TFT full colour screen, but again, we're at a price point. It was easy and simple to use. One thing I did notice, they've used the same rear silencer as the 1200, and that gives it that distinct bark that you get from a V-twin engine. At about 7,000-8,000 revs, this bike was singing. So if we take a look at the suspension, the front forks are upside down 48mm Kayaba with 170mm of travel. Now Ducati's stance on the whole off-road thing with this bike is they say that there's not enough travel in this suspension to take it fully off-road. But then again, the bike does come with that Enduro setting, so I guess that if you do have the confidence, like I said earlier, and you've got the right tyres on, you could do a little bit of off-roading on this. The rear shock is a Sachs preload adjustable 170mm travel again. If price is more of a sticking point than engine size, then this might sway you one way or the other. The 950 Ducati Multistrada in red is $10,995. If you want this one here, the Star White Silk, that's an additional £200. So at the start of the launch, the question I asked myself was who this bike is specifically for, and I think we've answered it. It's for just about anybody. Anybody that doesn't want to pay the price tag for a 1200, or anybody that doesn't want that big old power of that 1200. If you look at what Michael Hauer said at the Enduro launch, he said that it was a bit of a handful off-road, and this bike bridges the gap nicely. Now I've got to say the whole experience with Ducati has been amazing. 3 days in the sunshine in the middle of December, getting to ride bikes on some amazing roads. It's been a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm hoping this is not going to be my last review.